The part 2 begins suddenly. A change starts to be in Honey Badger's body. His hair starts to change color, indicating that he has shifted, and so the bloody battle starts back over again. The Honey Badger launches attacks one after the other. Still his opponent is taking them all head-on, still refusing to go down. Suddenly the Honey Badger unleashes a strong attack, knocking his opponent to the ground using electric shock. Seo King, who is overseeing the fight right from the sidelines, gets pleased to see this feat and starts to advertise that Honey Badger has won, but her statement is seen to be not true as the giant turtle's shadowy figure rises back over again. In a brief moment he strikes Honey Badger, constantly making him heave up blood, exhausted and shamed about not being suitable to take his vengeance. Honey Badger prepares to use his life to defend his quality. As they both exchange the final blows of their match, the giant turtle gets transferred flying back, revealing one of Yu-Gi-Oh's roots has arrived just in time to save Honey Badger. Overwhelmed with rage after seeing the state of his pet, Yu-Gi-Oh prepares to fight against this beast. He orders King to pass his knowledge to his root, allowing him to see from the root's point of view. As such, the grand fight is now starting. He snappily checks his opponent's stats bar as he ganders over it. He also sees Honey Badger and respects him, praising his determination and turndown to admit defeat. He tells him to rest and leave everything differently over to him. After tossing Honey Badger's side and putting him in the care of Red Fox, he also powers up and prepares to attack using the fashion of his former foe Warlayoff Snake. He launches an important attack, dealing so important damage that the giant turtle is transferred flying to the face and ends up dying. The Honey Badger hurries to the face as well in order to substantiate the demise of his topmost adversary, winning the battle in just a single strike. Yu-Gi-Oh snappily cools down and his mood gets better. Likewise, he also remembers his main ideal for coming to the spiritual mines in the first place. He orders each and every one of his faves to start collecting all the spiritual monuments they can find, as his faves dig up the gravestone and bring them to Yu-Gi-Oh. Red Fox and the pack of Tempest Wolves, amounting to 4, have the loftiest pets, and as similar is assigned to drag the packets of gravestone to him. After digging up a huge knob of the delve in just a piddly half day, they all manage to acquire a huge quantum of spiritual monuments. After they all are gathered, Yu-Gi-Oh claims these figures must be lesser than the huge pile of splinter centipedes. Also, now the time has arrived for him to eventually evolve and attain an advanced rank. He takes a bunch of monuments and absorbs them as he wonders what he'll transfigure into he beings to shine and glow. Not long after, Yu-Gi-Oh has now evolved. His appearance has changed a lot as his body has changed color and his eyes have come fiercer, despite now looking like a tree demon king. He claims that appearances don't count and proceeds to check his status window only after having a power trip after killing a many catcalls. As he does so, he sees how important he has come, in addition to having all his roots and branches evolved to position. He also has numerous further chops up his sleeve. Also, after his battle with the giant turtle, Yu-Gi-Oh has absorbed his skill and has gained the fashion of beach control. As his eyes pop out after seeing this, he becomes eager to test out the power of this fashion. Just like an earthbender, he makes the ground rises up and observe his command performing in a cool yet fearsome attack. Still, he snappily finds an excrescence in this skill, claiming that the range of this attack is only a many hundred measures. Realizing he'll power up as he situations up, he wonders if he can move around after a while using his beach control to manipulate the ground. Soon he wonders if he might have enough points to upgrade his life force gift, as he did not have enough the last time. Zion, who is assaying Yu-Gi-Oh's power from the sidelines, claims that his spiritual energy position must be over, as she claims that indeed the splinter centipede will no longer be a match for her master. Meanwhile, Falcon Crane and Wild Cow return back from their hunt, and Yu-Gi-Oh tells them the situation is formerly dealt with. Suddenly a flower mysteriously sprouts on his body, revealing that his life force has been upgraded. As in trial, he feeds this flower to Wild Cow, who incontinently evolves into a position and transforms into a further badass interpretation of himself. As Yu-Gi-Oh becomes pleased at his amazing capacities and powers, the Wild Cow suddenly start to speak in the slow miser and intimidating voice. He starts calling his master God Tree, overjoyed after learning that monster awakened their knowledge. After position 9, he wonders how strong Red Fox will come after he's position, claiming he will come stronger after nurturing him. Indeed, after his faves awaken their knowledge, he decides to first expand his spiritual mind, delve and gather further monuments. On the other hand, soon after this fire, Zeo King returns to Ling's body. Back at the academy, she's seen to be working hard and has now come overpowered. Her body and intelligence have impeccably fused, and both Ling's and King's powers are combined. One day her preceptors calls her, revealing to her a whole new life form. The genes of wolf and humans mixed together, a werewolf such like critter. The educator reveals to her that he created this fusion of DNA after a numerous failed trials. In addition, he reveals that all his experimented humans came willingly in order to help humanity survive these harsh circumstances, claiming immolation is necessary in order for humans to stay on top of the food chain. He expresses how his trials are still not complete, as he countries that he requires a being with immense mending and regenerative capacities. Ling realizes that the monster her educator wanted fits the Description of Yuji. Impeccably realizing this, she makes a contorted face as her educator continues to claim that humans cannot and will not lose in this period of spiritual energy. Meanwhile, back in the timber, a group of humans conforming of both normal humans and super beings get assigned to recoup some sauces and similar from the mountains. They accept, knowing not what might live in the timbers. As they enter and start looking around, they soon encounter a shifted white barracuda. Its appearance leaves everyone paralyzed with fear. The men try their stylish to fight this beast, still they snappily start dropping like canvases, with only 2 people remaining. A super being girl named Kyan King gets told to run down and escape, as at least one person should survive and bear the events which pass. Still she doesn't get a chance to do so, as the white barracuda snappily mauls everyone, leaving Kyan King to forfeit for herself, facing certain death. She wonders if she will really face the outgrowth everyone additional faces. All these studies rush through her head. Suddenly Yuju's roots intermediate and end up delivering Kyan King, being overpowered as heck. The root fluently manages to injure and capture the white barracuda as Kyan King lies on the ground, nearly losing knowledge. She prodigies what the thing that saved her was. Yuji also transports all the group members still alive along with the white barracuda to his position there. The white barracuda, despite acting all fearsome and arrogant just a many moments before, is now acting skittish and shy. After being girdled by his faves, Yuji reveals he has gotten a new skill after upgrading his life substance, revealing his tire can now turn monsters and beasts tender towards him and increase closeness. As similar, he decides to test this out on the white tiger, who incontinently drops his address and starts licking Yuji's box. Amazed at the instant results, he wonders what will be if he feeds the tire to the girl he saved. As he approaches to feed her, she wakes up, allowing that Yuji is going to molest her with tentacle play. She starts to laugh, but his intentions are not analogous to her prospects. After feeding her the tire, he asks her to stay with him and train his faves. At first, Kyan King refuses to stay with a tree demon. Still, as the tire takes effect, she incontinently agrees. He also asks what her awakened gift is, as she states its womanish suspicion. He laughs at this capability and decides to see how far the sap's effect spread. As similar, he orders Kyan King to praise him, which she does, deciding to push his luck. He also tells her to strip. Hearing this, Kyan King snappily becomes embraced and blushingly refuses, claiming she does not want demoralized by her turn down. Yuji also proceeds to feed his tire to the other 2 humans he saved, revealing he wants them to educate Red Fox and Wild Cow about mortal knowledge. He tells he wanted to calculate on Seo King, but she's relatively busy, and so these bear humans are now assigned with nurturing and tutoring. Yuji recognized faves. Using his branches, he creates lodging for his recently acquired slaves, which is okay because they concurrence to stay despite them being constrained under the influence, now being suitable to move freely. It's time for Yug to eventually lift as a god. Still, due to the current circumstance of the world, he claims anything can be, and as a result he needs to be prepared for all situations accordingly. After putting the humans in their apartments, he begins to check his status window formally. Again, after defeating the giant turtle, he managed to gather elaboration points. Thus he proceeds to level up beach control literacy, that since he's now transcended to rank all of the advancements in strengthening will bear a lot further points. After crying about how precious everything is now, he accepts the sale, leveling up beach control to position. Deciding to test it out, he again uses the fashion, noticing that the destructive power has now increased drastically. Still, the range is still limited to measures as similar he situations. The skill indeed more, now getting suitable to make hills with his branches and beget huge scale earthquakes with ease and malignancy. Of the sheer awesomeness of this skill, Yuji claims that he could end up putting a strain on the main body, so he should first pass and get this capability under complete control in order to get the entire home under his command. Meanwhile, on another mainland, a huge riffle hits a bustling city, causing havoc. Likewise, inside the riffle there are multiple shifted beasts present. In addition to transcended beasts are also seen 5 hours after this appearance in yet another country. Along the ocean front, the political assembly is over in arms. It's revealed that they too have been hit by these ocean beasts. Baron, an adjunct of the Prime Minister, reveals that this beast, a gold pattern deal, is a rank, and its estimated power position is about. Nevertheless, they've managed to drive it down after 3 nuclear attacks despite their sweats. There's no evidence if the beast is still alive, and the abysses of this world have now come more dangerous than ever ahead. On the other hand, back at the home of our friendly tree demon, the humans Yuji got his hands on and captured are now working according to his wishes and are sluggishly getting further and further acclimated to the girding. Kyan King is assigned with tutoring knowledge to the beasts, while Tong and Feng, both super beings as well, are assigned to be a coach and cookers independently. 3 days have passed since they set up themselves. Then, in order to avoid getting killed at the hands of Yuji, they decide to keep on doing the tasks assigned to them. As they've lunched, they also bandy how they know way aloud that a tree with wisdom would be present in this world. They also claim that if the military knew of Yuji's presence, they would use all their might to try and exclude him. Meanwhile, Zeo King has come back after her training to visit Yuji. There she inquires as to why he kept these humans around. He replies that their knowledge is veritably important to him. She also appeals to him the recent appearance of the rank eel. She adds that Eel got attacked by 3 nuclear munitions, still only 1 connected while the rest were bounced off. Huge IU is complex and wishes to learn more. As similar, King claims that the beast used sound pressure to manipulate and change the bullets' line, making them bounce off. Likewise, indeed, after getting hit by 1 armament, the eel managed to return back to the deep ocean, witnessing the scary side of humans and how far they're willing to go in order to cover their kind. He realizes, unlike the eel, he has no place to escape. Accordingly, he decides to find indeed stronger companions to aid him in unborn trials. In addition, he also wants to make an underground conglomerate, and so he gets to work capturing and reining a wild boar. Also, he helps evolve an alligator into an ancient emperor alligator and tames it, having extreme strength. This ancient emperor alligator wishes to decide the ranking between him and Red Fox, provoking it to a fight. As a effect, a ferocious battle ensues. Red Fox position and ancient emperor alligator revealed to be on the same position as Red Fox face each other and start attacking, wasting no time scrupling as all the other faves, including the humans, watch this battle from the sidelines. They prognosticate and anticipate the outgrowth. The alligator uses an air blade, a fashion which launches a sharp burst of winds to attack. Still, Red Fox is perplexed and dodges them all, trying to close the distance between him and his foe, but he gets a little too close, allowing his opponent to suck down on his bottom and stop his movements. Likewise, he also gets flying after a body slam as Tong protects the other humans, not letting this occasion slip by. Ancient Emperor Alligator rushes by, yet again opening his big mouth to suck Red Fox and tear his body. Nevertheless, Red Fox is also not going down without a fight and uses fire breathing to shirk. After their fierce clash, both of the fighters admit each other's strength and boo at each as the battle is stopped. Witnessing this battle makes Tong realize commodity pivotal, and he gets lost and allowed the coming day. While hunting along with Red Fox, he decides to have a talk with Yujiu. As Tong approaches him, he reveals the reason behind his visit. He claims he wants to admit Yujiu's element, his divine tire, stating that this world is the survival of the fittest. He is just a weakling with no other bents and capacities, and so he hopes that the tree god can help him come stronger. Still, his request is incontinently turned down as Yujiu, while making an angry and intimidating face, claims he will not trust someone who has betrayed their own kind. In addition, he orders Tong to go back to his duties, and after apologizing for wasting time, he incontinently leaves. After he leaves, Zio King wonders why her master denied the request for his tire. As similar, he explains that he's kind enough to let him live in these pristine surroundings. He reveals that just by living them, the humans have graced upon good and pure spiritual energy, which has redounded in them getting significantly stronger and has increased their position by a lot. Say King claims that this is good news, as these humans will prove to be handy to them in the forthcoming days. Yujiu also adds that humans are selfish beings and they regularly betray each other for one's own benefit, and in order to be clear of any chance of treason, he needs to observe his slaves some further. As their discussion comes to an end, he states that the timber has now entered the smooth phase and that the only thing they really need to worry about is staying low key and hidden in order to not attract any unwanted attention. Zio King also reveals that the splinter centipede has been captured by the humans and they're now using this beast for in trial. She also claims she is allowing about absorbing the centipede soul, which will allow her to lift to rank. Yujiu warns her, telling her that these situations aren't child's play and that there's a good chance that her soul is the one which gets absorbed rather. Nevertheless, King is confident in her capacities and makes this clear, and so he agrees to her plan, thinking to himself how important progress King has made after staying with humans, so much so that she's now suitable to consider problems and their results on her own. Suddenly they hear a commotion near. Upon disquisition, the commotion is caused by fighting between the ancient Emperor Alligator and Honey Badger, whose high pride and claims to be the strongest indeed when he is not. Yujiu realizes that his faves are now getting stronger and are at rank alternate peak. As similar, he decides to call them all out. As the faves gather, he reveals that he's going to allow many faves to leave so they can train on their own, choosing Red Fox, Wild Cow, and Ancient Emperor Alligator to leave. He decides to not include White Barracuda because he's too stupid. Red Fox is placarded the master of the strongest beast named Nine Tails from now forth. The alternate third and fourth species belong to Wild Cow, now named Demon Cow. White Barracuda and Ancient Emperor Alligator placed in fourth because of his recent entrances. He tells them that they will observe him as the great 9 demon beasts and tells them to bat freely except for inhuman metropolises. On the other hand, King and Ling's body approaches the liver centipede despite having his head detached from its body. The beast is revealed to be still alive. She tells the monster that rather of suffering his entire life, he should come Ling's new source of power. As such, the soul fusing starts. The end for now.